fresh water tank, and one more waste water tank. Okay, so the dust compartment is here. Then remove these two stopper. Very nice white color. Okay, let's power on. Are you the kind that will mop each section of your house with a fresh pail of water and then throw it out and then another pail of water for another room? So if you are, I think you will really like this robot because it's exactly you.
Into the place, dispatch you from a race. My heart, it started racing. The crowd across the way, FLAW was on your face, and then from the
And how is it different from other robots when physically it looks the same? You know, the vacuum in front and then the mop pad behind. So here's the thing, after each clean, it will return to the base for a self-clean. It will drain out clean water from this tank to wash the mop pad, and then the dirty water will go into the waste tank and then again drain out water to wet the mop pad again, and then drain out the excess water before sending this robot out for another run. Look at the size of this water tank. It's huge. It's 4 liters compared to conventional robot, which is 100 to 500 milliliter. And it was able to mop the entire house, but with 4 liters I was only able to complete 2 rounds. I mean, if you do the math, it should be 8 rounds, right? And I've divided my house into 10 sections. Every section it will return to base for another rinse. So if you have 10, naturally you're gonna need more water to finish the task. Now conventional robot is a bit different. It doesn't rinse the mop pad. It uses the same amount of water to wet the mop pad constantly to finish the entire house. In other words, you don't need that much water and it is gross. And look at my living area. Okay, it's a huge square and I've divided into 4 sections. Okay, the first reason is because the dining area here is the dirtiest part. After cleaning here, I will send it back for a rinse before letting it go to the sofa area. So don't spread the mess. And then the second reason is very simple. I mean, the living space is so huge. If you want to mop the entire space, right, the second half of it, the mop pad may not be wet enough to give it a good clean. Sorry? Good question. How much can it cover with 4 liters of water? I was able to do 2 cycles, 60 meters square each. And don't think that you have nothing to do with this robot, okay? You still got to empty out the waste tank every day, else it gets super stinky. You cannot wait for the next day. And I do have a tiny issue with the noise. You know, when the robot returns to dock, I notice a treading sound, you know, when it's trying to move back into the base. And also, when it's draining the water, it makes a loud gargling noise, which can be a bit startling if my kids are sleeping. But they got used to it. And at the end of all the cleaning, again, it will wash and dehydrate the mop pad. And this process takes a long time, which makes a very soft noise in the background, which is only obvious if all the windows are closed. I also noticed there isn't like a water tank inside, and I guess they traded it off for a bigger battery size at 6400 mAh. That's gonna give you up to 210 minutes of runtime. And the suction power is crazy too at 4000 par, which beats a lot of robot cleaners out there, but it's not perfect. I notice when it's mopping, right, it doesn't go super close to the wall. There is like this amount of gap, which is quite huge, about 8 to 10 cm. And the mop pad here is removable.
Mop pads removed.
It's quite clean considering that I've never cleaned it before. I don't see any hair particles stuck on it. The same for this. And here's a brand new one for comparison. So you can get an extra one if you want to clean your bedroom. You don't like your kitchen mop pad to mix with your living room and your bedroom mop pad. For the add functions, I think it's pretty comprehensive. I will start with the most unique feature, which is the self-cleaning setting. Okay, you can set it to rinse the mop pad by the amount of area cleaned or by the zones that you create. So by area, it meant that like every 5 meters square, it will go back for a clean. Every 10 meters square, it will go back for a clean. But I prefer by zones. So like you saw on the map, I've created so many zones. So after each zone, it will just go back for a self-clean at the base. And then it also has the basic add features. For example, you can choose just to vacuum, just to mop, or both. And then you get to choose the suction level also. So at the highest point, that's 4000 par. And then you can choose the mop pad, how wet you want it to be. And then you can also do customized cleaning. So if you check that, what it meant is that on the map, okay, you can say for kitchen, I want it to be like a high suction power, and then the mop pad to be like super wet. And for my living area, I want it to be quieter, a lower suction power, and then not that wet, Next is the cleaning sequence. So you can set the sequence you want it to start cleaning. I've selected from the deepest end all the way out. And then you can also do scheduling. So for the scheduling, again, you can go by time, you can go by room, and you can go by days and sequence. The last part that I want to show you is you can set virtual wall, no-go zone, and no mop zone. So it's just a simple one. This is the no-go zone. And then a virtual wall at the entrance. And then I randomly set a no mop zone just to illustrate my point. So this is the base plate that holds the robot at the dock, and then the mop pad will spin here to wash out all the dirt, and it seems that it's working quite well because I do see a lot of dirt stuck here. Okay, you can remove that. So let's just give it a scrub. And putting back is pretty straightforward. You just clip it both sides. Okay, you may not understand this point if you don't have a robot. So sometimes when you don't have your phone with you, okay, and you want a robot to start, you can press the buttons on the robot. But if the robot is somewhere underneath the bed, it's very hard to stop the robot. So having buttons here, you can stop from here.
Returning to the base for self-cleaning.
And do take note that this is the only dust compartment here, so you still gotta empty this out once every 2 weeks, else it gets too full. And I still cannot believe how clean the floors are. The difference with this wash and rinse feature before going to the next zone is just so hygienic. I never thought about it because I've always been so lazy and dependent on a robot cleaner since 2015. So this to me is the new benchmark and a must-have feature for a robot cleaner.